Hey everybody, right, I'm back again with the next video tutorial. So we do have to change some things here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this. I actually rethought of something and we have to change that. Next, these little functions, parameters, the callback, change it to CB. It's probably like arg0 or something. Change these all to CB, and just do CB dot on create resource finished. Actually skip this one, skip the on create scene, and do cb.on populate scene finished. So what it's doing is just letting the engine know that it was done creating resources, it was done populating the scene, etc. And what we're going to do next is we're actually going to create the menu scene. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new class in the scene package. So type in menu scene, and we're just going to make it extend the base scene class. And implement the methods by just putting your mouse over it like that. Alright, so now we're here. So the create screen, on deck pressed, and the dispose scene. For now, we're going to do, we're using a function called set background. And if I'm not mistaken, we can do new background. Let me see what the parameters are. I forget to be exact. You can import it, so we can import it there. And I'm pretty sure it's just, let me see, it should be, I think it's color dot. We'll do blue to start. Alright, cool, so that works. So we're pretty much just going to create a new background that's going to make it blue, just to make sure it works. So that's what we're going to do. Now go back to Scene Manager, and we're going to create a function to actually load the menu scene itself. So we're going to do public void load. Now we're actually going to do set menu scene. So this is pretty much going to start the menu scene and make it set. So we're going to do, inside of this we actually need to create from this, show what I mean, from the onCreate scene we need to use this parameter, we need to send it into the into this method here, and I'll explain why in a second. So I'm actually just copy and paste it, this onCreate scene callback, you can go to Scene Manager, you can paste it in there, you can type CB. So onCreate scene callback, and then we're just going to do resource manager get instance dot load menu resources. So we're going to load them all right there. Then we're going to do menu scene equals new menu scene, and that's pretty much going to instantiate the menu scene object. Then we're going to do set scene menu scene. So we're going to set the scene in the menu scene, and then we're going to do current scene dot create scene. So we're just going to create the scene. You can do menu scene dot create scene, doesn't really matter. And after that we're going to do cb dot on scene finish. Now the reason we need to pass it into this is because we need to set what scene is going to be created first. So in this case it is our current screen or menu screen, whatever you want to type. I'm actually going to make it menu screen just to be sure. Menu scene. So that's pretty much just going to create our scene for us. Now go back to game activity, and we're going to do scene manager dot get instance dot set menu scene CB, and pretty much what's that's going to do is it's just going to load the menu scene and make it run. Now let me unplug my phone really quick. If we run this, I'm actually going to pause it while it loads up because it does take a little while. What you want to do is you want to run it. If it comes up, if you haven't run it before, it's going to say what it is. Just double click on Android application and it should start running for you. So I'll be right back while this is loading. Alright, everybody, I'm back. Now the thing is, I tried doing it on my emulator. I had some problems with it, so I added it, or I hooked it up to my phone, and my phone right now is just a blue screen. So I mean, if you have a phone, what you can do is you can plug it into your actual computer through USB, and then it should come up with a little option to like select the phone to load it in instead of using the actual emulator. So I would suggest that, and if you do it, for my phone it's a big blue screen with some white bars on the side because the screen's a little bit bigger than the 800 by 480, but it does load the blue screen, so that's a big plus. And as you can see, I'm looking through Logcat right now and there's no errors, it just says that it's been loading everything, so that's very good. So from there on, actually let's start loading in the actual graphics and things like that. So instead of just having a boring little screen, we should actually try and bump it up a little bit. So we're going to delete that create scene part, and we're going to make a few small things. So the one thing that I messed up on is I need to change this to main menu scene. Actually no, we might be able to use this. Let me see. Private menu scene menu child. Do that for now. Let me see. Yeah, no, we have to change this to main menu. So just type that into there. put your mouse over it and click rename compilation unit to main menu scene.java. That will obviously mess up some things down here, so go to scene manager, change this to main menu, and go to main menu. And then you should be able to import something called menu scene and just import that. Now what this does is it pretty much lets us use buttons. So the one thing that we're going to need is we're going to need the different integers or ID values for the different buttons. So we're going to need private final int menu play, which equals 0, and then we'll do private final int menu exit. So we're going to do the exit and the play. We're going to make that 1. So after that, we're going to create the background. So to do that, we're just going to do attach child, and now we're going to create the sprite. Now the thing is, with creating sprites, it's kind of inefficient to make it look good. It's kind of like a few lines. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to create a function that is inside the base scene. So we're going to go to base scene, and it's pretty much going to let every single scene use this function that we're going to create now. So we're going to do protected sprite create sprite, and you'll see why it's so inefficient in a second. Float x, float y, I texture region. So we're going to need the I texture region is pretty much that region or the image that we're going to be loading. So I'll show you that what I mean in a second. Vertex buffer object manager VBOM, and then we're just going to use that. So Control Shift O, and it should import everything for you. Now let me show you what the iTexture region is. If you go to Resource Manager, you'll see that the exit and play button regions are the same exact parameters, or same exact objects. So that's why those are important. So now we're actually going to create it. So we're going to do sprite equals new sprite. So we're going to create the sprite here. We're going to do x, y, so the x and y coordinates, the region, so the image itself, and then VBOM. And then we're actually going to do open brace, close brace, and then inside of there we're going to type in @override protected void pre-draw. Then we'll do GL state we'll just do GL state, and then camera. Now what this function does is that pretty much what we're going to be doing is we're just going to make the we're going to enable dither on the image itself, so it's going to look a little bit nicer. Right here, actually, you have to add the parenthesis or the colon. So inside here, you're going to want to type super.predraw. So we have to call this super first, of course, and we're going to name it GL state and camera. And then we're going to do GL state dot enable dither. So it's going to, in short terms, it's going to make the image look much smoother and nicer. So then after that, we're just going to do return sprite. So clearly you can see that's really inefficient if you were to type that out 50 times. So I mean, I figured it would be easier just to put it into here, so that's what we're going to do. Then go back to main menu scene, and we're going to continue this. We're going to do attach child, and then we're going to do create sprite, the x coordinates. So we're going to do we'll do 0, 0. Actually, no. That's going to be, we'll just screw it. We're going to make it colored background because we don't have an actual image to set it as a background. So if you have an image, you can do it like that. We're going to do set background, new background, and we're going to do we're just going to keep it simple, color.white. Nothing too fancy. Might have to import the color there. I imported it pretty quick. Might not have caught that. But then we're actually just going to create a new function as far as. So we're going to do private void create menu. And we're actually just going to name this menu for now. It's much easier to say. Alright, so to do the menu, what the menu is it pretty much allows us to create and use buttons very easily without having to actually make like a button class and have to see when the user presses somewhere and make it all annoying. But it also lets us do animations, which is pretty cool as well. It's really easy too. So we're going to do menu equals new menu scene, and we're just going to put the camera in there because it needs a camera. And then we're going to do menu, we'll set the position to 0.0, 0.0 for now. Doesn't really matter where it is. And we're going to do final I menu item. Then we're going to do a play item. So this is going to be like the play button. We're going to do equals new scale menu item decorator. Now this is just one of the classes that lets us animate it. So for this scale menu item, what it does is it scales it. So when you click on it, it's actually going to make it bigger until you let go of it, and then it's going to run whatever after that, so it's going to open up the game, for example. So we're going to do new sprite menu item, and then pretty much what the sprite menu item is just going to take our sprite and it's going to make it be able to use for the button. So then we're going to do inside of here we're going to type menu. We're going to give it the ID, so we're going to menu play. Then we're going to do resource. We have to get the actual image again. Resource manager get instance dot play button region, and then we're going to do VBOM. Give that, and then we're actually just going to do the scaling. So we're going to do like 1.25 is when it's scaled. So when you put your when you click on it, it's going to scale it up to 1.25. Whereas when you're not clicking on it, it's just going to leave it at 1. So I mean, you can make it this make it a lot bigger, like 1.8 or 2 if you wanted to. But we're just going to keep it at 1.2 for now. And after that, I'm going to have to add the colon to the end. I'm just going to import this stuff. Should be pretty easy. Just click import, import, import. So import all of them, and we're just going to copy it really quickly because it's the easiest. So I'm just going to copy that, paste it down below, and we're just going to change this to exit. We're going to go here, change the ID to exit, and then we're going to change the region to the exit region, and we're going to leave the scaling the same. Alright, so what did I miss here? Why is it giving me errors? Oh, we have an extra parenthesis. Whoops. Alright, so just delete that there. Alright, so then that's pretty much setting up the different menu items. So I'm going to do menu.add menu item, and we do play item, and then menu.add menu item, exit item. So that pretty much just adds it to the menu. Then we're going to do menu.build animation, so it's going to build them and get them ready behind the scenes, of course. So we don't really need to know how that works. We're going to do background set and background enabled to false. So there's no actual set background enabled to false. So there's no background. And then we're going to do pretty much going to set the position. So we're going to do play item dot set position, and we're just going to do play item dot get x, and then we're going to do play item dot get y plus 20. Okay, then we're going to do exit item set position. We're going to do pretty much copy the same thing. Exit item dot get x, and then exit item dot get y, and then we're going to make this like plus 75 for this time, so it moves it down a little bit more. And after that, we're actually going to make it so that when a menu item's clicked, we're going to be able to handle it in this actual class. We're not going to handle it somewhere else. We're going to do menu dot set on menu item click listener. Just click that, and just type in this. And we're just going to have to clearly implement that at the very top. So we're going to do implements I on menu item click listener, and this will give us the different or the method to check when an item's clicked. So implement that last method. Should be added to the end. Let me edit that there, and then that's pretty much it. Then we need to set the child scene to the menu. So it's kind of like a scene inside of a scene here. The menu is just another scene. So now this part, when it's actually clicked, so we're going to change this to a scene so we can actually read these. Item, local x, the local x to the scene, to the menu scene, and then local y. And then we're going to do a basic case again. So switch, we're going to do scene dot get ID. Ooh, not scene. We're going to do item dot get ID. Yeah, that's the one. And open it, and then we're just going to do case menu play. I'm going to do we're going to do break for now because we can't set it up. So we're going to type break. Right there is when we're going to actually change the game. Then we're going to do system.exit 0. And then we just say break even though it just exits the system. So this will close the application if we press the menu exit button. and then we're actually just going to return, we're not going to break, we're just going to return true because it does take a Boolean value. So return true for both of these, and then we'll return false if nothing else is pressed. So yeah, that's that. Now we just need to do create menu, and from there on it pretty much should be good to go. Now one of the other things we need to do is create this back button, so we're going to do that really quick. So what we want to do is, if we're on the menu scene, the back button's pressed, we just want to exit the application. We're going to do exit, so that's another way to exit the application. Now we actually didn't have anything called, like for example, we didn't make this function be called anywhere. So one of the things we have to do is we have to actually make it be called. So go into the game activity, and we're going to create or implement this other method. First it's going to be, we're actually going to implement two right now, we might as well. We're going to do add override, we'll do protected void, we'll do on destroy first. This is in the back button part, we're going to need this so it destroys the stuff properly and doesn't leave any memory leaks or anything like that. Super.onDestroy, and just do system.exit 0 so that exits the system correctly. Then we're going to do add override. This is going to be the back button, so we're going to do public boolean on key down, so when the key's pressed, we're going to int key code and key event or let's do event, much easier. And then we're going to do if key code capital C equals key event, God, I can't type, dot key code, I think it's back, if I'm correct, let's see, yeah, import key event. I just press Control Shift and O to import it quickly. Yeah, that was the one. So then type scene manager, like get instance dot get current screen scene, sorry, dot on back pressed. So when the back button's pressed, it's going to get the current scene and then call that function. So if it's pressed on the main menu, it's going to call this function right here. So that's how that's going to work. So let's try running it. I'm going to pause it again while it loads up on my phone. But you guys can load it through your emulator, or if you have your phone loaded up, you can load it through there. So I'll be right. How silly of me. Okay, I forgot to return a Boolean value. Just type return false there, and now you can run it. I'll be right back. Alright, so chances are when you ran that, it did not work. It did not display the image. It probably displayed some type of black box. Just didn't display it correctly. So we have to create something that even I still don't understand today. So it's kind of really confusing. I'm not too sure how it works exactly, but it has to do with how it displays the actual images on the screen. So what we're going to do is, and it's only with the bitmap texture atlas for some reason. So we're going to have to, or with the buildable bitmap texture atlas. So what we have to do is we have to type in this stuff. We have to type in menu texture. I'm sorry, I totally forgot about this. Atlas dot build. I'm going to type in new black pawn texture atlas builder I bitmap texture atlas source comma bitmap texture atlas, and then close the little brace thing, and then what we have to do after that is we're going to type in parenthesis 0 1 0, and then just close it off. So what actually one more thing, we're going to type in menu texture atlas dot load. Alright, so what this is supposed to do apparently is it has to do something with the spacing. Each of these numbers has something to do with like the texture spacing between the border and the texture. It has to do with loading it. It's really confusing. I tried reading up on it. There's really no good documentation on it. But if any of you do find out what it does exactly, it'd be really cool to know. So after you run this, it should run. But before you run that, go down to your main menu scene really quick and just move this down a lot more, because I realized that it's going to be a lot bigger. So what I'm going to do, I'll make this 145, so plus 145. Now if you run it, it should show it correctly. If you press the exit button, it should also exit out, so it's going to load it on my phone. You guys obviously can't see it because it's on my phone, but 1 second. Okay, exit is actually above it now. Let me play around with these numbers for a second. I'll be right back. Alright, so what we're going to do is it just loads from the center. So we move this up 20, and this is just going to be in the center. So if you run it now, it should correctly display it. If you press the exit button, it should. Well, first you'll see the animation, and then you'll also see it exit out right after that. So that is it so far. And the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be starting to actually create the game and the physics and all that wonderful fun stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. Comment, subscribe. I'll be back later.